presence of sodium citrate is a combination of baking soda and citric acid or lemon juice. That will make sodium citrate. Now, that's a really interesting field. We won't have time to get into it, but take a look at this patent that's referenced in that earlier paper. And basically you have this fellow Japanese group, I think it was quite some time ago in the 90s or so. They created a patent to basically create drugs out of a huge class of chemical reactions, which involve what are called ester salts. I just picked one. There's probably hundreds of combinations you could make out of this patent. But I picked one because it was available to me and I had the means to perform the reaction. But sodium citrate is extremely alkaline. And by the way, the two aspects of growth here that are significant in identification are, number one, that this organism, or organisms plural as the case may be, thrives in an acidic environment. It's a statement of fact and a very important statement of fact, but it appears to thrive in an acidic environment. It may be dormant or somewhat neutral or in stasis in an alkaline environment, but it thrives in an acidic environment. And the presence of the hydroxyl radical seems to amplify and accelerate its growth tremendously. So I have tried 3 out of a potential list of who knows how many, but the basic rationale is what? The exact opposite. The basic rationale is that of alkalizing the growth medium, and secondly, providing a supply or source of hydroxyl-free scavengers into the growth medium. And that's a strategy which has been employed. The photographs pretty much speak for themselves at this point. I've done that test about 3 times. Each time it was done twice. It's not intended to be a solution, quote, to the issue. Its purpose is to introduce a strategy which appears to have a degree of effectiveness based upon what I would regard as a solid rationale, with an understanding of the conditions that enhance growth as well as inhibit it. And all we can say is that the presence of those 3 hydroxyl scavengers up here at this stage to successfully inhibit the growth of this particular organism at the earlier stage of growth. I will never do anything to get into the medical side of things. I provide this information from a research point of view. It's obvious the work that should be done, but this is simply to lay that foundation out there, to give you a line of research. I could talk for quite a bit more on the study I've done on what's called the aspects or benefits of alkaline diet and how that might affect the body. I would simply suggest these, because we'll run out of time tonight, but suggest that as a line of research. Two things I guess I would suggest for all of us. That is to investigate the pros and cons of alkaline versus acidic environment. Maybe examine your own life situation about what your diet is and how it fits into that scheme. And the second would be the role and presence of free radicals in the active and onset of disease. And one of the things that's fascinating to me here in this work, if somebody wants a pill, I'm not your person to be going after a pill. But what's fascinating to me is that the results of this work actually indicate that basic foundational changes in our health, which we've known about for some time, the literature on both these subjects, on free radical as well as alkaline environment, has been out there for some time. But it's fascinating to me that this work adopts that rationale from a solid observational and analytical point of view, based on pure research that can be shown in a laboratory, that it certainly appears to have this beneficial effect of inhibiting that growth. And with that, I don't want to hold you folks over, but with that, I'm going to quiet things down on my side And I can try, if you'd like, to answer some question. I'm not going to drag this on all night, because here's part of what's happening on this. I don't have time to answer emails properly, and maybe I upset people for it. But what I'm attempting to do is provide a platform where I can at least get information out to the public, and also give you an opportunity to ask questions and respond. Now, I may not be entirely fair tonight, but we want to recall that the last meeting, what I did was I said nothing, and I opened the whole thing up to questions right away. So, I'll try to be fair and moderate things. Today, maybe I consumed your time with more presentation. Hopefully, if there's sufficient interest, I can continue, or will do this, in partial resolution to my neglect and failure to answer the emails that may come in. But if you'd like, I'll take a few questions, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, if you'd like, and I'll see what I can do for you. And thank you very much for your concentration and participation thus far. I hope it was of interest. I always feel like I just scratched the surface, but hopefully there's enough substance there to give you a line of investigation on your own. So I'm going to start looking for some questions that come from you, if you have any, and pick a couple of them. It may be arbitrary on my side. I don't know. I can either go in order. I can be arbitrary. But let's see what we have. We have a question here. Okay, let's take a couple of them. One is asking here. This is looks like Riofti. You have to forgive me, but the question is, and I'll read these so at least the question gets recorded. Will the hydroxyl scavenging work as a curative agent on someone infected for years? Okay. Well, please understand and bear in mind, I'm never going to say anything medical. Okay. I just won't. It's not smart. It's not wise for a zillion reasons. Every one of you needs to work with your own medical professions. Caveats are all over my papers. This is up to you to get together with your doctors and do your research on things. I will freely talk about and disclose what happens in the laboratory. I won't have any reluctance to do that. But anything that, with the words cure or, in human biology, is it going to fix somebody, you're going to see me back off immediately, because there's too many unknowns and too much liability there, basically, on the unknowns. I can't speak for that. So, can I take that question? No, you see, I can't take it. I can't say anything about curing anything. Because remember, if you look at this work did not say anything about killing or destroying or terminating anything. What it said was, it appears to inhibit the growth successfully. Inhibit means slow down or stop. But it says nothing about these things, whether they exist or not. So, we can't say. I can't answer it now, but it's not because I don't want to. We don't know it in that sense. I can't even begin to talk about human biology. I'm working in a petri dish. But I appreciate, I love it because I understand the question. We should all be asking the question. We should all be doing something about to find the answers. And I cannot imagine a greater impetus than what is available to us and greater need to find the answers. It's just that I'm not in a position to always provide the answer beyond what you will see me document. Lori is asking about colloidal silver, okay, and effectiveness of colloidal silver. Well, with regard to these tests, what we can say and know is that these tests didn't involve colloidal silver at all. So we don't know. And certainly the question is, well, did you try this? Did you try this? Did you try this? And we could go on with that with 3,000 things that I know should be tried. I haven't done it. And what I've done is progress with a certain rationale. To me, it's important to read. One thing I would say is, in the interest of time that I have available at least, I need a reason to do things. I can't, it can happen occasionally, but I can't just pick something out of the blue and hope it works, because I don't have the time to do that. And I have to try and develop a reasoning or a strategy behind what I'm doing in the interest of effectiveness and time. So, it's like, is a colloidal silver thing on my mind? Yes, I've done some investigations in some ways, but they have not been applied in this series of tests at all, and we don't know the answer to that. At all, I don't at this point. But should it be done? Absolutely, it should be. And so that's how I'll respond to the question. This and a zillion other things should be done. They should have been done already a long time ago.